Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I do hope you're well. I'm quite a bit better actually from my cold flu, whatever it was. I should jolly well hope so, because it's been 2 weeks. Still feel a little bit just off by a few points, if you know what I mean, just a bit up. But yeah, I'm happy that it seems to be clearing at last. Yay! Unfortunately, my leg has blown up again. So I'm hobbling today. And no, I don't think it's because I've done too much. As far as I'm concerned, I've not done enough. But yeah, it's a little bit sore today. So I'm going to show you in the kitchen in a minute. But I thought I'm going to just start with talking about some of it sitting down because I'm on my stick again, and stick and camera and standing in the kitchen, it doesn't work very well. I was supposed to be painting today. I'm kind of at the halfway stage, yay, ready to paint. Actually, I think it's more than halfway. It's that old adage, isn't it? I'm sure you've heard it from other decorators. I'm sure if you've done any decorating yourself, is that you spend way more time doing the prep than the actual painting. Excuse me. I still do have it a little bit, so I do need to keep wetting the whistle. Yeah, way more prep than decorating. I remember in the flat before this one, when I did the front room, oh God, it was hideous. It had acoustic tiles on the ceiling and it had acoustic tiles on the walls with wallpaper over the top. And they put the acoustic tiles over the old wallpaper. So there were layers and layers. And I spent 9 days doing the prep on that room and 2 days decorating. It's crazy. Yeah, so you know, I don't think it's worth skimping on. I like to do it thoroughly. And actually, I was mentioning this on Facebook the other day, I really like the prep. I like the prep more than the painting. And I know that that's the opposite to so many other people. They hate doing all the prep. They just want to get on and do the painting. But no, I love it. I used to really enjoy painting. I've kind of gone off it a bit. I don't know why. I mean, I still, I enjoy it as much as one can enjoy such a thing. But yeah, I definitely enjoy the prep more. And I think for me, it's something, it's almost symbolic, isn't it? I don't want to get too hot and heavy about, you're just decorating, Vivi. But it's that sense of stripping things back, scrubbing things clean, getting it all back to sort of basics, out with the old, in with the new sort of thing. But yeah, that process of scrubbing away years of grime, years of paint, whatever it is, sometimes that might be, when you go to a new property, it might be years and years, layers and layers of wallpaper. Yeah, for me, that feels like I really enjoy that process. But I'm gonna get comfy. I'll talk more about the kitchen in a second. We'll go in there. I'll show you where I'm up to. So, like I said, I think I'm more than halfway. I've got the painting left to do. Yeah, it feels good. Things are moving along. Once the kitchen's done, I'll move into the bathroom. There's not much to do in the bathroom. And also, just to say, in here, I'm not going to do anything because the decor is pristine still. The only thing I will do is a very deep clean. Yeah, more of that. I'll come on to the DIY and stuff in a sec. I just wanted to share, I've had some really lovely post bags that I wanted to share. Yeah, let's just dive in. So I'll cover that up. Thank you, Angela. Angela sent me, it's hard, I'm trying to show you this to you without showing her. She's got her addressy bit on the outside. What I love though, apart from the letter, thank you, look at this stamps. Aren't they gorgeous? Lovely little wee flower stamps. That's from North America, from the United States. Thank you, lovely. That was a fun read. Then I've had, I'm going in reverse order. I had a lovely little package from Pat. Pat, she of Saskatchewan. And she of the Saskatchewan map. And what's lovely is, since she sent that map to me, I found a few other places on it of a few other friends. Yay! Including, they're friends of mine, but from my own life that you don't know. But if you remember, I talked about Rob, who sent me the Dick Prenicky book, One Man's Wilderness. Is it One Man's Wilderness? I've forgotten now. So I've located him on the map too, so I've been kind of circling and colouring where different friends live in Saskatchewan. Endless fun with a map. But anyway, Pat has recently sent me a book. Some of you may know Robert Bateman, Thinking Like a Mountain. So he's sort of an artist and ecologist. I'm sure I know Robert Bateman for some reason. I can't, as soon as I opened the packet, I thought, yeah, I know Robert Bateman. But I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it. I've come across him at some point in my life. I'll remember at some point, but yeah, I will enjoy this. I think it's sort of little stories, but let me see if I can find it. Also with his little sketches throughout. So I think that's going to be a lovely read. There's a clipping from a magazine. What magazine? Maclean's magazine. Is that familiar to some of you in North America? This was from, oh my goodness, it's from 2013, this magazine clipping. So I'll enjoy reading that, reading a bit more about him. But what I loved is when I immediately sort of flipped it over to read the back, and there's a name that's come up again, this Aldo Leopold. And it's come up about 4 or 5 times this year already. So I'm keeping an eye out for anything by Aldo Leopold in my shops. No, I'm not asking for any Aldo Leopold. Please do not send. I'm not really getting much time to read at the moment. So my lovely wine cellar of books is expanding again. It's in terms of reading time. Obviously, I've been busy, but there are a couple of days when I took a couple of days off completely because my temperature was really high. I was floppy. I just couldn't do anything, and I brought a book to the sofa and I read just a handful of pages, and I was like, I can't even be bothered to read. Anyway, but back to the Aldo Leopold. Yeah, I have been looking out for him because he keeps getting mentioned in all these other books. But I loved this little bit on the back. I'll quickly read to you. I don't want to spend too long on this today. Let's rattle through. I don't want it to be a too long one, although I haven't done a really long one for ages. It was Aldo Leopold who coined the phrase "thinking like a mountain." So I think this is Robert Bateman's take on it. But he said, when will we change our way of thinking so that we make our plans and take our decisions from the point of view of the planet, instead of the point of view of instant gratification? Hear, hear. I don't pretend to have the answers, but I do believe the solutions to our problems are all around us, if only we observe closely and listen carefully. These solutions won't come easily or cheaply, or without some pain, but upon their successful application depends the survival of all species, including our own. Pat, thank you so much. I can't wait to dive into that. And actually, it looks like they're quite short pieces, almost like sort of little essays. That might be the perfect one to be picking up at the moment where I'm not finding the time or the energy to read much. But yeah, I look forward to it. But she also sent, where have I put it? Don't lose it. Oh, Vivian, you absolute nincompoop. Oh, there it is. She also sent this lovely little charm. A little wee charm. And on the front, you see it says gratitude. And then on the reverse, it says grateful. I mean, I try to live my life with gratitude anyway. I do. I don't try to. I do. I live my life with gratitude. But what I love about this little charm is I've put it with the word grateful facing up, and it's on the little rail in the bathroom at the top of the wainscot. It sits on the top of that rail just above the sink. So every morning when I brush my teeth and every evening when I brush my teeth, I see it. And it's just what I like about it. Like I said, I do live with gratitude anyway, but having it there, it's a slightly more purposeful, mindful moment of gratitude. So every morning I look at it and I say, what am I grateful for? And it can be the most random thing, like this morning. I mean, I'm hobbling and my knee's killing me, but I thought, well, I'm grateful for my lovely little home, and I'm grateful that I am making progress with it. At night time, sometimes it's, it's an obvious thing of I'm grateful for something that's happened that day. I'm grateful for a lovely post bag, for instance. Sorry, I was about to go on and on and on about the things I'm grateful for, but I love it. Thank you, Pat. It's to just have that little visual reminder so that I take a moment to stop, do my teeth, stop and say, what are you grateful for, Vivi? And sometimes it's a really big thing, and sometimes it's something really, really small. It doesn't matter. But yeah, mindful gratitude. It's lovely. Carrying on with the post. Thank you, Veronique sent a lovely chocolate and a couple of other bits. So Veronique lives in the UK. She's French. I was sort of like excited and then like, oh, nervous, because her letter, the date bit it starts it's in French. And that was the first thing I saw, as I pulled it out. The first bit I saw was the French, and I thought, oh, well, this is going to be a moment to practice my French, isn't it? She's written it in English. Thank you, lovely, because I don't know how good my French is these days. Anyway, lovely little chocky bits, but she also sent me, I love button badges. Who doesn't love a button badge? Bookworm, isn't that perfect? I'm going to put that with my other little button badges. I have my button badges in my bureau. So when I open my bureau, my button badges are there. I can see them. And I was thinking about this the other day when I don't know, I was sort of 17, 18, around that age. I used to have a crossbody, like a shoulder bag, but crossbody, that was canvas, just kicking about in my canvas. And of course, the front flap of it, that's what had all my button badges on. We're talking mid-80s. So of course, a ton of my button badges were my favourite bands from the time. So like, I had The Cure, Susan the Banshees, Cocteau Twins, Smiths. I had all those badges. And then of course I had all my political ones. I had my CND badge and my Peace Dove and my I had a Rainbow Warrior badge. I'm trying to think what else. So I don't have all those anymore. I don't know what happened to them. I do have one political button badge that makes me laugh. It's having a little bit of it's a play on words using the word Tory and lavatory. I won't go on one though. Let's not do politics. Anyway, so yeah, when I saw that, I thought, ooh, squealed. I love button badges. And it did make me think, you know what I could do with them? Sorry, itchy schnozzle. I've got my bag that I always use, it's just a little leather bag, and I know some of you might be all shocked about the leather. It's recycled leather. It's old sofa leather. Sorry. That this particular company, can't remember their name, sorry. They make bags, accessories from recycled furniture leather. So anyone who ever chucks out a leather sofa, anyway, But I also have a really cute little Cath Kidston one that I picked up in a charity shop ages ago for the time when my current bag falls apart, because they do fall apart eventually, don't they? The reason I'm mentioning the Cath Kidston one is because the little strap on it is canvas webbing. So I could put all my button badges down my canvas webbing and be like I'm 18 again. Oh, hilarious. So thank you, Veronique. It's not just perfect because it says bookworm, but it's perfect in that it just kind of whoosh, memories. But she also, and I thought this was so cute, she sent me a packet of Limnanthes douglasii. It's the poached eggplants that I have that swathe of at the top of my plot that originally came from a handful of, I mean, it was literally a handful of dirt swept up off the ground from Catherine's plot where the seed had dropped. Just grabbed a handful of dirt, chucked it on my garden. So I thought that was a really sweet idea, so that when I move I can have a little patch of the Limnanthes. From my patch, I then kind of cut out a chunk of them when they were actually grown and gave it to Paul for his plot. So now he has a little swathe of them on his plot. Lovely. Thank you very much, sweetie. Then another book, but before the book, the card. Look at this card, isn't this gorgeous? This is from Angela. As soon as I saw the card, I loved it. Look, coastal. It's a bit of coast, it's a bit of the seaside. But I immediately thought, wow, wouldn't that be an amazing piece of stained glass? And then I started getting really ahead of myself, thinking, ooh, what if I commission my cousin who works in stained glass to make me a stained glass piece like this as a panel to go above the door in my new home? I don't even know if I'm going to have a glass panel in the door above my new home. I don't know where I'm going to be. But then looking at it more carefully, I suddenly like, wow, that would be so intricate. It would take forever. It would be way too expensive. But gorgeous card nonetheless. So Angela has sent me a book. Don't know anything about it. A Fortunate Woman, A Country Doctor's Story by Polly Morland. It's non-fiction. When Polly Morland is clearing out her mother's house, she finds a book that will lead her to a remarkable figure living on her own doorstep. The country doctor who works in the same remote wooded valley that she's lived in for years. The doctor is a rarity in contemporary medicine. She knows her patients inside out, and their stories are deeply entwined with her own. Brilliant. I can't wait. Thank you, gorgeous. I think that lovely combination of it's the rural setting, doctor, a bit of medicine. I like my medicine, my science. So, I mean, I don't know. At the moment, like I say, in terms of time, not having time to read, it might be that this is an entire library for my new home. I can't wait. I was saying this with Paul the other day. I don't know if I've been saying it with you either, but I'm really looking forward to the moment after. I keep talking in terms of BM and AM. Before the move and after the move. There's so much, I've got so much that I keep saying, right, well, I'll do that after the move. Just need to get this move done. Then I had a really, I just make sure this, yeah. Oh, I've just realised Veronique with the button badge and Veronica. Do you remember a week or so, 2 weeks ago by now, I think. Excuse me, wet me whistle. Where does that phrase come from? Wet your whistle. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about that book, La fille qui lit dans le métro, the girl who reads in the metro. Odd little book, quirky little book. And I read it that night, I couldn't sleep. Great distraction, fun. Well, the naughty Veronica has been back to that second-hand bookshop, and I just want to tell you what she mentioned about it, because it just sounds like such a great shop that if any of you are in the area, it's in the UK, go and have a visit. I think it's in Letchworth. It's been there, hang on, I'm trying to find it in your letter. It's been there a long, okay, so it's been there for 60 years. It's called, oh, hang on, landslide. Lap slide, that's what we should call it. Instead of a landslide, when we've got a load of stuff in our lap that tips up, it's a lap slide. Yeah, it's called David's Bookshop in Letchworth Garden City. It's been there for 60 years. And she said, the shop has evolved over the years. It's always been an independent bookshop, great. And it's now owned by the Employees Trust. So I wonder if that means the staff own it. That would be great. New and second-hand books, music and DVDs, and it's now got a little cafe attached. It organises author events. It sounds absolutely fabulous, and they have a website. It sounds just wonderful. So if you're in the area, go and check out David's Bookshop and say hello from Vivi and Veronica. But they have a website too. And she said, at the moment, the second-hand section seems to have me in mind because she found both these things. There's a DVD and a book. Oh, you know what? That's what, you know, I was just saying about not feeling like reading. I could have put the DVD on. I'll make time for it. It is, I know of this film. I've seen bits of it. It's from the British Film Institute. I might have even seen a screening of it at the BFI, British Film Institute. It's in London. I think I probably did, but I can't wait to watch again. It's called South, very simply South. Ernest Shackleton's glorious epic of the Antarctic. So, oh my goodness, this is one of Frank Hurley's photographs. Frank Hurley was the official photographer of the expedition. Huge fan of his photography. Yeah, how brilliant. How brilliant. Veronica, thank you. Can't wait to look at that. You know, because I'm so hobbly today with this leg. If my leg eases up later on, I'll get on with the work. But if, in the meantime, what I might do is have a bit of Ernest. But she also sent, and this I picked up the other day and have started reading, this book, Robert Somerville, Barn Club. What's its subtitle? A Tale of Forgotten Elm Trees, Traditional Craft and Community Spirit. I just love the idea of this book. There are photographs, but also, this is just, honestly, this makes me a bit like hair on my neck and a bit jiggly in my seat with excitement. Loads of diagrams of the woodworking, loads. I've had many flip throughs already, joints, etc. But I absolutely adore the premise of it. I'll tell you more about this when I have read it, but it's about building a barn. I can't remember which county they're in. Where are they? Hereford? Suffolk, I can't remember, it doesn't matter. I will tell you properly once I've read it. But it's being done largely with a group of volunteers, a community, some of whom have zero carpentry experience, but they're learning on the job. This is a community raising a barn. What isn't to love about this is so up my street. Again, it's a rural setting, it's woodwork, it's crafting with the hands, but more than that, it's a community doing it. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Yeah, it's the sort of thing I wouldn't do it now. I don't know, maybe I could do it now, maybe I could do some of it sitting down, but it's certainly the sort of thing that if something like that was happening in my area, I would jump at the chance to be involved. Brilliant. Veronica, thank you. What fantastic picks. And I think you're right. I think the stock in that bookshop is just for me. Tell them to send the whole stock over. Right, we're nearly there. Oh, yeah. So, before we go into the kitchen, hang on a tick, sorry. Okay, so now onto the kitchen. I'm just going to bring you up to speed from the sitting position, because I don't know how wobbly I'll be with the camera and a stick. The last time I showed you anything in the kitchen, I was sanding the butcher's block. The stage I'm at now, all of the sanding, stripping, paring, it's all done and scrubbed within an inch of its life, ready to paint. So on top of the floor's been sanded twice now, and some of it's been done by hand. I'm going to tell you my deltoids, that this bit of muscle in here that kind of comes around here on both sides is I can really feel it today. Honestly, I think, oh, I can't do that. I can really feel it. I love it when I can feel my muscles like that though. I feel like, yeah, I've worked. I've earned my ache. Just before I go on about that, last night, what a lovely treat, about midnight in the end. I had the longest, hottest, deepest bath I've had in ages. I think we've all been skimping with our bathing, haven't we, because of the price of fuel, but I thought, I don't care. Deep, hot bath with a glass of beer. I had a couple of beers in the fridge. They've been there for a little while, and I thought, tonight's the night. Little beer in the bath, what a treat. Anyway, yes. So, floor has been sanded twice. Check, good. The butcher's block is finished in terms of the sanding. All the marks are out. Fantastic. It looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks brand new again. It isn't oiled at the moment. I'll leave that till, I've finished painting and everything, because I'm working down from, the ceiling, the walls, and then I'll get to the butcher's block. Then what I've done, I've moved on to the window frame, and I've been using, I don't have it here to demonstrate, I've got a scraper tool that has a razor blade in the end, so you can, it's sharp, it gets sharper. So I had my razor, scraper and some wire wool. So all around the window frame where, once upon a time when the painting was done, paint got onto the window frame. It's UPVC. I hate it, but that's all I could do at the time. But yeah, where it's gone on the plastic and maybe wasn't noticeable at first because it was white paint, where the paint has discoloured over the years and it's gone a kind of cream colour. You can really see it all around the frame. It looked horrible. Looked really horrible. So that's all been scraped off. Sometimes with the wire wool, mostly with the razor. Being really careful, because obviously feel it. That's what I'm feeling today actually, was this action with the wire wool. But obviously being careful I want to scratch the paint off but not scratch the frame itself. It took ages. However, it's so worth it. I walked in there this morning and the first thing was like, wow, the window frame, it looks brand new again. So once all that scraping, all the paint was off, I've then used, throughout the whole kitchen actually, hydrogen peroxide, just a 3% solution. Everything's had a wash and a scrub down. Shiny new. Now, in terms of the washing and scrubbing, so that was the window frame, the tiles, the boiler, the door frame, the skirting board, all the piping, all the pipes from the central heating, from where the comes into and out of the boiler. Everything was scrubbed, and I used the hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is a great cleaner and it breaks down very safely. Hydrogen peroxide is actually really unstable. It wants to break apart into its constituent parts. Its chemical symbol is H2O2, which gives you the clue. H2O, water, O, oxygen, combined hydrogen peroxide. Anyway, one of the reasons for doing all the scrubbing now is because, for instance, with the woodwork, and the boiler as it hit, is attached to the wall. As I'm scrubbing, I mean, I was really scrubbing. Oh, that's it again. It was very much, this was my action yesterday, not both at once. But yeah, as I'm scrubbing, I am catching the wall at times, or like when I was doing the skirting boards, as I'm scrubbing the top of the skirting board, I'm catching the paintwork. So I want to do that now, before I've got my beautiful new paintwork up. I don't want to scrub afterwards and maybe mess up the new paintwork. So the window was done with the tiles, again with the wire wool and the razor scraper. With the razor scraper, something I've been meaning to do for years, go along and where the grout was a bit wobbly, where it's a bit, it's just straighten all the grout. Where it's come onto the tiles a bit, get it off the tile. With the wire wool, you wouldn't have ever noticed it in a video because it's so tiny, but I used to notice it all the time. Teeny tiny speckles of the green paint. Obviously from the rollers do speckle and spatter a bit, don't they? So with the wire wool over the tiles, then peroxide, tiles look brand spanking new again. They look gorgeous. The grout still looks hideous, but I'll tackle the grout again after I've painted. Painting, coming down. So that's done. So yeah, so basically the whole kitchen now is it's sanded, it's wire wooled, it's razored, it's scrubbed. It is done in terms of prep. Now the fun of painting and then finally oiling the countertop. Just before I was just about to go in, and then I suddenly remembered to show you this. My radiators, they're great. They were top of the range 19 years ago. They're kind of, if you're looking down into them, they're about this fat. So they're quite deep radiators instead of like your normal skinny radiators. They're quite deep and they're double finned. So inside they've got this kind of like that along that edge and that along that edge. It's hard to describe. Really economical. You get a lot of heat out of the same amount of wall space. It's because of that double finning, it's a larger surface area. Great. However, they're an absolute beggar for being a dust trap, because the dust can get in, but I can't get anything in to get the dust out. So I ended up buying a can of air. It sounds stupid, doesn't it? It's pressurised air. You would normally use it for, cleaning your keyboard, electronic equipment. It's got a little straw. Take that off, put it in. So you end up with basically I could put the straw through the top grill. The thing is I can't take the top, there's a grill across the whole of the top of the rad. If I could take that grill off, no problem, I could get in there, but the grill doesn't come off. So if the grill is here, the blades are here, and it's down here that the dust has settled. So I just can't quite reach. So anyway, this has done a really good job on the kitchen rad. I was mentioning this on Facebook, and then Carol, you're a genius, why didn't I think of it? And I'm sure there's loads of you who are shouting at the camera right now, shouting at the screen saying, why didn't you think of it, Vivi? Honestly, I don't know why I didn't think of it. Not necessarily much better, but a cheaper, not entirely free because it uses electricity, but let's call it's a free solution, and it's not in an aerosol. So there's a little bit of this left. I will be doing the same treatment to the living room rad and the bathroom rad, because the other thing about dust on the radiators, it starts to, they don't work as well. Just, anything where if you're occluding the heat, obviously not a huge amount, but yeah, we want all our gadgets to be running as well as possible and economically. Anyway, Carol's idea, use a hairdryer. Why didn't I think of that? I can hover the hairdryer over it, direct the blow. I could put the blow drying nozzle on. The only thing is, where's my hairdryer? I don't think I've used it for about a decade. I know where it is, pretty sure. So yeah, instead of using the pressurised air, the canister of air, I'm going to do the others with my hairdryer. My hairdryer has a cold setting as well as a hot setting, if I remember correctly. So I don't need to blow hot air. I do enough of that, don't I, when I'm talking to camera, as some people might say. Never mind. Yeah, give that a go. So that was also done, and that's a job that's been bugging me for ages. Also, when I was doing all the scrubbing, the rad has been scrubbed as well. So even the rad looks brand new. Yay! Right, enough of that chat. Oh, and finally, Esther, a new basket. I love this basket. It's a pretty shape, isn't it? It's got that ever so slight shaping on the end. This is all to do with staging. Now, this was a bargain. It's a big basket. I picked that up for £3. £3, that's ridiculous. This is again something I was mentioning. It might have been in a Facebook conversation. I can't remember. It might have been in comments on a previous video. I've got a budget for doing work on the flat. I've also got a budget, it's all part of the same budget, set aside for when I move, if I need to buy things like the white goods and a sofa and all those bits and pieces. Excuse me a sec. So I have budgeted for doing the flat up, both in terms of the kitchen, a couple of bits in the bathroom, and getting the getting the hallway decorated. And that needs it because it's bare plaster from the roof replacement, and I had a lovely and massive new skylight put in. So that really does need decorating. But also I'd kind of said to myself, well, I might spend, 50 quid on a load of houseplants before I saw how much houseplants cost. Oh, on that, Heather, thank you in advance. Was it Heather? Sorry if I've got it wrong. They're sending me a couple of plants. Thank you, lovely. But honestly, other people know because I'll kill them. But yeah, so... But I don't intend, in terms of staging, I don't really intend to buy anything. I'm going to stage with what I've got, because I've got nice stuff, I've got interesting, nice, quirky stuff from over the years and years and years. But if I do feel if one or two things would make a difference, and they're things that I would have to buy, I will jolly well make sure they're things that I'm going to use in the future. In other words, I'm not going to spend money on stuff purely to stage that I then give away or give to the charity shop or put in a cupboard and never use again. I'm not going to do that. I'm trying to do all of this as economically as possible. But £3 for the basket, great. And the reason I wanted a basket, or thought about it, now look, if I hadn't found it, I wouldn't have bothered. But it was on my shopping list, the one I keep in the back of my head, is in the cupboard, in the food cupboard, I've got it's cardboard. I've got a cardboard box, kind of slightly cut down, and it's got all sorts of bits and bobs of attachments in there. It's like the extra little bits for my NutriBullet. It's got my jam funnel that I use for various things. It's got bits and bobs attachments for the blender. All that kind of plasticky clobber that attaches to other stuff. All of that kind of miscellaneous clobber. So I've got it. It's just in a cardboard box. And the reason I thought about it was because a couple of weeks ago I'd opened that cupboard to get something out. And I thought, it looks a bit studenty, cardboard box. Now for me, I don't care, I don't mind. But I did think, if you open the cupboard door and that's what you see, so you'll see it end on and then sort of pull it out of the cupboard. So if I'm doing it, I'll pull it out to get to what's inside it and push it back in. Well, it's nicer for me anyway, isn't it? But also, when I've got people coming to view the flat, if they're getting nosy and looking in the cupboards, that is a nicer thing to see with all my gadgets and attachments than a cut down cardboard box, isn't it? Anyway, look, £3. Can't go wrong, can I? And like I said, that's going to come forward with me to my new house. And I love my baskets. I love baskets for storage. By the way, just quickly, I remembered, I did say about a month ago I was going to do a video all about cleaning vintage baskets. I haven't forgotten. It's on my pinboard of videos to make. It's just purely and simply that has not been the priority. And it might be that that doesn't happen before I move. We're back to the BM and AM, before move, after move. I hope it'll happen before I move. It'll happen at some point. Right, shall we go and hobble into the kitchen? It's really not a big deal to show you. I'm literally just going to give you a quick look at how it is this morning, ready for painting. Yeah, and then hopefully my leg will get a little bit better as this afternoon goes on, and I might be able to get some of it done. But I'm not gonna push it, the knee. I'm not gonna push it. Right, shut up, Vivi. Show us the kitchen. All right, I'll show you the kitchen and I'll shut up. Oh, so here it is, all ready to go, basically. Like I said, all the cleaning, the scrubbing. With the rag being here, see, from the outside, the rag looks brand new again. But now you can see down into the top. Do you see what I mean about those fins down there that trap the dust? I'm going to give this another going over with the hairdryer idea of Carol's, which is brilliant. But even things like all my sockets and switches, the light switch, everything's been scrubbed. So everything is looking, new, bright, shiny, clean again. And obviously, the giving all the paintwork a wash as well means hopefully I'll get a better adhesion with my paint. It's hard to see that the window looks better because obviously with the brightness, but yeah, I can see the difference, I know the difference, and it might not pick up on camera, but with the naked eye, yes. So yeah, good stuff. Can't wait to get stuck in with the painting now. I need to do some, that's what I could do today because I didn't get round to it last night, is to just, with masking tape, just mask, you can see it sitting there waiting, mask off the window, mask off the end of the counter under the eaves. I'll mask off, for instance, the boiler. Boiler looks brand new again. Everything looks new again, apart from the walls, which are really grubby. Yeah, I can do some masking off today. I can probably manage that. But otherwise, yeah, all I need to do now is paint. Get painting. And say, cheerio, green wall. Oh, it does look so old and grubby now, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? This is years and years and years of cooking and living in the kitchen. I could probably have done with redecorating about 5 years ago, but I didn't, never mind. So, yeah, when it's all done, hang on, let's sit again. Yes, so I'll be glad when it's all done, and then I can think about getting on with planting a garden. Oh my goody goodness. I really hope, apart from anything else, and obviously part of the reason I'm doing this is because I want it to look good for selling, but also I just think, this is probably going to be a first time buyer buying this flat. It's, if you're a first time buyer in this area, goodness knows how anyone affords anything, but this, this is one option, isn't it? And I just like the idea that some lass like me, like I was 20 years ago, I've gone into deep shadow, haven't I? Never mind. Yeah, I mean, when I moved in here, there was no central heating, the windows were all bust out, there was no kitchen, the bathroom was hideous, plastic lavatory, and I didn't mind, I was up for the work, I was up for it. But what I really like the idea of is that some lass buys this place, the day she moves in, she can just hit the ground running and start living. I don't want her to have anything to worry about by way of I mean, if she wants to paint and do it differently, of course. We all, we probably all do that. But in terms of that first night that she's here, that she feels this is clean, I can have a bath and walk to the bed, to go to bed without putting shoes on because I'm scared that it's filthy and horrible. Or that evening she can cook a meal for herself in the kitchen without thinking, oh, it's all horrible and dirty, and put her plates in the cupboard, because when she opens the cupboard she'll see that it's clean and bright. That's what I want. I want for that person on their very first night here to just get on with living their life here without worrying about cleaning and ick factor and what's gone on here, what happened, all of that stuff. So yeah. And hopefully, when I move, someone might have done the same for me. I doubt it though, because I'm probably looking at a doer-upper. Anyway, that's it for today. I was going to try and keep it shorter. It's not. Never mind. C'est la vie. I will see you all again soon. I don't know whether I'm going to show you the painting, because painting is painting, isn't it? But I will catch up with you and just keep you up to date with how things are going. All right, lovelies. Take care. Until next time, cheerio.